What if you, here's a question. What if you went to a notary and you got a signed piece of paper saying, Nick Rakita says that he will give me $50,000, and here's his signature that I forged, and here's my signature, and then you take it to the bank and you ask for $50,000. Is that fraud?
Well, if you forge my signature, that's a different question, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Did they forge someone else's signature?
No, they did not.
No, but I mean, they...
Yeah. Oh, well, they didn't forge the signature. Oh, well. Yeah, find another garbage analogy, Destiny.
Okay, what if I go to a notary, I get a notary?
The deprivation of property right from someone or the increase of property right to you through a false statement. Yeah.
So if I were to missign a check, if I were to fraudulently sign a check and try to cash that at a bank and the bank catches me, I haven't committed any crime because they didn't cash the check.
It's an attempted fraud. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'm sorry. You can amend all my prior statements then, I guess, to attempted fraud. Does that meaningfully change the argument, or?
Yes, because you need to now, now it's up in the air whether this was actually fraud in the first place. Like, you could technically say anyone was committing attempted fraud because they did this one thing, even though it's they didn't have the intent of, they could accidentally do something that could detriment someone. If they didn't intend on detrimenting that person or doing that thing, then it's not fraud or even attempted fraud because they didn't try to do it. They did it by accident.
Well, sure. It meaningfully changes the argument.
So yes, it does.
The question is, is it a fraud if it's legal to do the thing?
But it wasn't legal. You're saying they could retroactively...
Why is it not legal?
No, it is legal. It is legal for them to go up and tell them, hey, these are the real votes. It doesn't matter whether those things were false or true. The state can still take them and make them true or make them false.
Is it a fraud if it's legal to do the thing?
But it wasn't legal. You're saying they could retroactively...
Why is it not legal?
Because they weren't they attested to, they signed saying we were empowered by the state to do this, and they weren't empowered by the state to do this. It didn't happen.
It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. They could say whatever they want, but it's still after the votes go in, it still goes back to the states. And if the states see that these weren't the ones that they put in, they could just say, nah, fam, this is not the one. And then they send them the other ones. And there you go. There's no way to circumvent the state being involved in this.
But the state
could in the future do a new one and then choose them, but at the time when they signed, they didn't, right? Well, actually, because if we're going to do the retroactive game, then, I mean, they didn't. So then you agree then it must be fraud since the state didn't do it. No, this is, okay. So you presented this analogy of going to
Destiny doesn't fundamentally understand this.
a bank with a false check, right?
Yeah.
What if you went up to a bank with a note that said, I'd really like it if you guys gave me $50,000.
That's the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And the bank says no. Have you committed a fraud?
No, of course not.
There you go. Thank you. But we still got 2 hours left of this video, so obviously Destin doesn't agree with this.
What if you said, I think you owe me $50,000. Will you please give it to me right now? And you put that on the note and you hand it to the bank. Is that a fraud?
They'd probably call the cops on you, but no, that's not a fraud. No, I don't think so.
They wouldn't call the cops on you for that.
Well, they would because you look like a bank robber. But no, I'm joking. Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah, they're not going to.
It's not a fraud.
Yeah,
though,
you haven't committed
right?
any crime. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you present an option to the bank. It doesn't take the option. What is illegal about that?
I don't know if you've.
That's what Trump and his people, or Destiny will call them Trump and his henchmen. I'm going to call them Trump and his henchmen. I'm going to say that for the rest of the video. But that's basically what Trump did. Trump went up to the bank. We'll use the bank as the analogy for the I guess Mike Pence or whoever, the state, I guess. And hey, so this is the actual thing. Here's the note. Here's the signed document that we signed. Here's the thing saying that these are actually the legit ones. Can you take them, please? The state could say yes or no. There's no fraud there. He said yes to that. He said yes to that. But obviously he doesn't. Destiny, he has cognitive dissonance on this, 100%. He says yes to that analogy, but once you put the word Trump in it, he's like, well, you see, it's Trump though. He's a liar, so obviously.
committed any fraud or attempted fraud. You just said, give me $50,000. What if here's a question. What if you went to a notary and you got a signed piece of paper saying, Nick Rakita says that he will give me $50,000. And here's his signature that I forged, and here's my signature. And then you take it to the bank and you ask for $50,000. Is that fraud?
Well, if you forge my signature, that's a different question, right?
Yes.
Is it?
'Cause did they forge someone else's signature?
No, they did not.
No, but I mean, they.
Oh yeah. Oh well. They didn't. They didn't forge the signature. Oh well. Well. Yeah. Find another garbage analogy, Destiny.
Okay. What if I go to a notary? I get a notarized document. I said Nick Rakita says he's going to give me $50,000. Here's a promissory note where he says he's going to give me this.
Then they'd either, I guess, give you the $50,000 or not. But that would be on the bank because.
But it would be attempted fraud, right? If I have this like a notarized, if I attest to this, if I bring an affidavit and I lie on it about who okayed something, this is attempted fraud.
Like a notary is just a recognition of the signature that's on the page. So if you notarize your signature saying Nick Rakita says he's going to give me $50,000, you give that to a bank, they're going to say, so?
Exactly.
Why would they give you $50,000? Based on them saying I would give it to you.
Okay, sure. What if I came in with a check that I filled out addressed to me from you, I guess, and I filled that check out for you and I said, give me $50,000.
You'd have to forge my signature.
Exactly.
Okay.
On that check, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying.
Yeah, look at him. Look at him. Destiny, cognitive dissonance. Now, this is the reason why I think this is like super biased Destiny talking. Super biased. Don't take any of his opinions on Trump, his arguments, garbage, just pure garbage, honestly. His things on Israel-Palestine, he did a good job because he wasn't biased one side or the other. He is heavily biased on one side when it comes to the Trump stuff because he doesn't like Trump. So he's going to be completely like debate bro mode and just only arguing for his position because he doesn't want to believe that Trump could actually believe what he believes. He thinks Trump is just a liar. So obviously everything that Trump does is just wrong. It's just lie. My point is that Destiny literally he has the best analogies. So for him to not be able to come up with an actual analogy for this point shows how biased and I want to say a little bit bad faith of him trying to do this. Like he's so determined and not having his mind changed at all on this that he literally couldn't see the other side of the point of view for this, which is, it's on Destiny can have his opinions on stuff, but just letting you know, like, don't take his opinions with a grain of salt. I'm not going to actually care about what he has to say on Trump's thing, because like he's 100% biased. So why would you go to Destiny to know to get a fair shake on like Trump? Like, nah, that's stupid. Just like how you wouldn't go to a Trump supporter to get a fair shake on Trump. Like, legit. This is basically the anti-version of that.
I'm trying to think of something that would make it analogous. The fraudulent part is
that's the problem, isn't it? Because there isn't an analogy because they did.
Let's go back a little bit.
And I filled that check out for you and I said, give me $50,000.
You'd have to forge my signature.
Okay.
On that check, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think of something that would make it analogous. The fraudulent part is that...
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Because there isn't an analogy because they didn't say anybody else did it. They just said, we are the duly authorized electors.
No. The problem... I can't think of an analogy.
No, that is what they said.
Off the top of my head because it's so obviously it's illegal. It's obviously...
See, he's already... Like, it's just so obviously illegal. It's just so obviously fraud. 100%. Like, it's just obviously that. Like, I don't need to even... Destiny doesn't even need to explain it. Like, it's just obvious. Like, 100%. Like, you see that, right? You see how biased he is on this? He just hates the man so much that it's just clear to him, 100% clear to him. It's as easy as knowing knowing how much, what type of cheese is in cheesecake. It's just so simple. That was a weird analogy, but you know what? I'm going to stick with it.
Fraud. They claimed that the state did something that it didn't. That's fraud. And then they signed a paper.
No, that's not fraud. That's a lie. Lies don't like this is why Destiny's like so poo-brained right now. Like he's calling lies fraud. Like, bro, that's not a lie. That's not fraud. That's a lie. He did a lie. That's true. The fact is that it's a lie. You saying that it's a fraud just isn't true. Because like Destiny fundamentally doesn't understand what fraud is. Like I explained in the beginning of the video.
saying that the state said something that it didn't, which in my opinion is a little analogous to a check, but they signed a paper saying the state said that we are the duly elected electors. They weren't. And they said that they met in the Capitol building to transmit their votes. They didn't. They weren't even allowed in. Those are two instances of fraud. And they were encouraged to do that by Trump's campaign, which is conspiracy to commit a crime, I think, right? Or attempted fraud. So yeah, it's like, it's super, just the attempt itself is illegal. Even if you're not successful, the attempt is still illegal, right?
Possibly.
Okay.
I'll concede that it might possibly be illegal for them to do so.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure that it's illegal for Trump to do so.
It wouldn't be illegal to tell somebody to commit a crime? Isn't that illegal?
No, that's not illegal. Like you can tell people to do something illegal. That doesn't mean that you're gonna get. That doesn't mean it's legal for you to say that. Yeah, that's the. Like someone could sue you and then maybe win or maybe lose in court depending on what you said, but like people lie all the time, but you don't see them getting sued. Right?
It becomes complicated, right? Because
wait, let's leave this. Let's just go anywhere else. If I tell somebody to murder somebody, have I committed a crime? If I say like, hey, tomorrow you should go to John's house and kill John.
No. That's not a crime.
Destiny's like,
It's
what?
a crime to tell people to commit crimes?
No.
Or to help people plan crimes?
No, that's
That depends on how far you go with conspiracy.
Okay,
Yeah.
what if it goes far enough that I give you a
You should go
whole
to
plan?
Wells Fargo and Sioux Falls tomorrow and rob it, Destiny. There, I said it publicly.
Sure. Okay, what if you give me like a plan to do it? What if you say like, you're going to pick up this piece of paper from this area, you're going to go to this area, and then you're going to... Okay, so for instance, for Trump's campaign, they said that you 7 people are going to meet here. We're going to give you the false paper to sign. You're going to, get it stamped, and you're going to say that you're in the courthouse and then transmit it. They're committing fraud. They're being told to commit fraud. Some of these people attested they didn't even know they were committing fraud. They did it at the direction of Trump's campaign.
So that's a problem because you need intent. If some people didn't know that they were trying to commit fraud, then it's not fraud. Like if people, it's impossible. It's impossible to commit fraud accidentally. So if they had no ability to commit to, if they didn't know that they were committing fraud, then that automatically disqualifies the fraud case. Like you could say that you could still like sue them for damages for accidentally like damaging you or causing harm to you. Like you still have like accidentally killing someone isn't murder. It's manslaughter. Intending on killing someone and you actually kill them, that's murder. That's why we have those two distinguishing things. Attempted fraud requires intent. So like even though you don't like actually commit the fraud, intent you can still sue them for intent of fraud, or if someone accidentally, you have to prove that they didn't accidentally do it. Because like if they say that they accidentally did it, then you have to they're the defendant. You got to prove that they didn't accidentally do it, that they were intending on trying to do this fraud. They just didn't work, which would still be considered attempted fraud. Yes, that's logically sound. Tell me what you think in the comments below.
What part of this isn't a crime, or how is this not a crime?
Well, if they didn't know they were committing fraud, then you've got a real problem because fraud requires criminal intent.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Hold on, no. Wait, that might be true, but that
is true.
Sure, but then it would just be. But then it would just be kicked up the chain, right? The mens rea would transfer to the person that encouraged them to commit the criminal act.
Okay, now here's the question. Can Trump actually be party to fraud in this case is a real question.